there's not a big drop, I would say, performance-wise. So no, they found their lineup, they found form, they found the way to play, and so for them it's good. For us, it's the job to do.
Thanks, Simon. Juliet for a question, and then Ian Kennedy, also from the BBC.
Hey Jurgen, with the ESL, the fallout, the repercussions that people are still talking about, although it isn't obviously going to happen the actual league. I was just wondering, with what you said to Vinny, what positives can be taken out of it, if there are any, going forward?
Positives.
Well, you always say, like, you look for a positive and a negative situation. When there's talk about the reforms and everything.
So
else.
look, the most positive thing didn't happen, and I'm now not involved that much anymore because I started again focusing on obviously on preparing the team. But what I've heard, it's not over yet, and I don't mean with the Super League could still happen, but obviously now there are a lot of discussions about other things as well, and we could speak a lot about these kind of things. I'm just not here to do that always. Everybody knows my view on more games and stuff like this, and that's why what Pep said yesterday is absolutely was always my opinion. I didn't hide that you cannot just introduce always new competition. So yes, the Super League is off the table, good, very good, but the new Champions League is now not that you think, oh great, what's that? Let's just do that. They showed it to me. They called me and they gave 1 hour to UEFA, and then they showed it to me, the whole idea, and I said I don't like it because there are 10 games instead of 6. I have no idea where we shall put them in, and then you will see what happens then. Then maybe the UEFA will ask for the cup competition gets cancelled in England or whatever, or that we have 18 teams in the league and stuff like this. You tell that the Premier League, then they say no way. You tell that the EFL, they say no way. All these kind of things. The only people who will never get asked are the coaches, the players, and the supporters. Yes, but we have. And I mean, I know the supporters think, yeah, but playing more games, they get paid a lot of money. But we are already on the edge. And believe me, when all the coaches think the same, the coaches of the teams who play international football, so if they all think the same, there must be something in that it could be a little bit too much. But again, the UEFA didn't ask us, the Super League inventors didn't ask us. Nobody asked us. It's always just play more games. And we said before, that's not possible. In this structure in the moment, it's not possible. You cannot have 20 teams in the league, 2 cup competitions, playing 10 international games before Christmas. These things are all not possible. But how is that? We don't get asked. We just have to deliver.
I think it was Gundogan. Sorry,
No, Pep said in the press conference something, and Gundogan said something similar. I know.
Okay, sorry. Ian Kennedy, also BBC.
Hi, Jurgen. Just on this weekend. Then ahead, it's an important one because the games are running out. Obviously, you can go 4th in the table, and then West Ham are playing Chelsea. So how big a weekend is this? I know it's all about what you can do, but maybe you need a bit of help from other results as well.
Oh, I said it before. That's a situation I don't like too much, but it's, to be honest, it's anyway the situation because we are behind. A few teams, so they need to lose points somewhere. We don't play them anymore, the teams around us, or don't play Leicester, don't play Chelsea, don't play West Ham anymore, so we don't play these teams, so they have to lose points somewhere, and that's the situation. But first and foremost, we have to make sure that we get our own points. If we don't do that, we have anyway no chance. So that's the first thing I'm really concerned about, and all the rest we have to wait and see. That's the truth.
And does it feel, I mean, I'm trying to think about the comparison between what you and the players must have felt going into the Leeds game on Monday and how you're feeling now going into this one. Does it feel like a huge weight has been lifted psychologically off everyone's shoulders?
Yeah. I would say yes, because it was really tough at Leeds. We were pretty much thrown into it. We had no idea what's going on. We didn't know exactly how people will react, stuff like this. We had our own opinion. That was it. Yeah, that was not so cool. But I would not say we only drew at Leeds because of that. It just was the situation. So now actually we tried to concentrate fully on this on football again. But we are not dead. So we realize that things are still going on. A lot of talks are for different things happening at the clubs. The only things I can say, I really hope that the bond between us and our supporters, that it might even get stronger, and we don't discuss now always things with bad decisions in the past. I just don't understand life like this, to be honest. Good people, and I can tell you, I know our owners, they are not perfect, like I'm not perfect, like you are not perfect, but they are not bad people. So, and I made a not so good decision, let me say a bad decision, that's true. But let's carry on. I really think it's. But that's my point of view, and I cannot tell other people how they want to see it. But I really try to try that all my life. That if something you cannot change anymore, then come on, carry on. Really carry on. Make sure that you are as good as possible. That you are ready for each fight as much as possible. Get a stronger unit if possible, and go out there and show the world that we can deal with pretty much everything. So nothing happened, and nothing will happen in the near future with the teams. Now they will not come around the corner next week again and try to do something. For sure not. They all learned their lesson. I'm pretty sure. So but now we have to. Just to make sure that we don't get any harm of it, like a different atmosphere in the club. For other clubs, the same, obviously. Where now fans fight with coaches and managers and teams. I don't know if that's true or not. But if things like this happen, that would be then a really bad thing about it. That would be the really bad thing about it. Nothing else, because the rest didn't happen. So they tried something. It was not allowed, so come on. Let's go back to the beautiful game it always was. And I'm not naive. I know that things will be discussed. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with change. But we all wanted to have the Super League away. So, but in the same moment, it happened that now the new Champions League is out there. And who read this concept properly and says, oh, that's perfect. And who tells me now that's not about money? It's a joke. I said before, Nations League, but with more games. I said before, the FIFA wanted to have a Club World Cup. It's all, and they don't ask. They just want to introduce it. What's the reason for that? Money. So these kind of things, that happens constantly. But in the end, we always could, at least in our moments, have the perfect moment for us. Playing football, enjoying the game as much as we can. And that never changed so far. And I only want to make sure that it will not change. So, because it started already, that's why I said in Leeds, that the Leeds supporters wanted to show us as a team, they were shouting at us that we are greedy. So they were like, what are you talking about? But that's exactly the situation we all create. They need to find somebody where they could put their attention on. And that was, in this case, was us, and it was not deserved. But it will be, we are Liverpool, that's true. But as said before, Liverpool is much more than this, and that's what I want to make sure.
Carl Markham and then Neil Jones, and we'll go to the embargo. Carl.
Again, you said there that managers barely get consulted on anything. So I'm just wondering, considering your relationship with the owners, would you have liked an explanation, because you're the one who's going to answer all the questions?
An explanation, I know it, and I will have time to speak to them, and that probably will tell me what they thought, what the thoughts will be behind. But is that really important now? So it's what he said before. If they would have spoken to me before, I would have told them, no, that's not a good idea. Would have had changed something? I don't know. So again, a manager is not. I decide a lot of things, but never did before these kind of things. None of us is doing it. So Pep won with City. Pretty much everything, and was not involved in it. So that's a completely normal thing. There are different levels in a club. They try it. They have made a decision for some reasons. I don't know them, but it's now not about that. I get an explanation. I'm not like this. I'm happy about that it didn't happen, and I have so much things to talk about with them. This will actually, from my point of view, not be a part. And why did you do that and stuff like this? We have to plan our future and not talking about what happened last week and these kind of things. It's great that it didn't happen. Absolutely great. It would have been really really bad. But now it didn't happen, and now I have a job to do, and I cannot plan constantly like different jobs. And now again, so make sure that will never happen again. Never. The situation shows it. It will not happen again. So there was now a proper try, obviously, and they couldn't get it through. Believe me, it's now for a long time. But something like this will not happen. But other things will happen. Other things will happen. And we spoke about these things before, and nobody listened to the players and the managers. And if we mention it, it's always, the argument is always, yeah, but you get that well paid. Yeah, rotate your squad and all these kind of things. The football structure in this moment is not prepared for more games. And I don't know, and some others on a really high level have no idea how you really shall deal with even more games. And if you have games, competitive games, when you have an international break, stuff like this, that now the national teams play only competitive games as well. So where is the drop-off? And we have to make sure that the quality of football gets higher. Not by buying, no, by training, these kind of things. And even the best players cannot get as good as they could be without training. That's just not possible. But we cut off training time constantly. We spoke about that. I spoke about that. Nobody really listened. It sounds always that I'm moaning. It's just a situation. And now one thing happened where everybody was obviously involved and everybody was on the same page. That should not happen. And now we think that would be the worst thing. It didn't happen, so it's not the worst thing. All the other things still happen. That's much worse. They still happen. Nobody cuts off games to just continue. More games, more games. Yeah, these kind of things. When we spoke about 5 subs in this country, nobody said, well, 5 subs, why? That's better for the big clubs. No, it's not better for the big clubs. It's better for the players. Nobody listened. So these kind of things, they still continue. These are my concerns, not the things they didn't happen. No, the things they happened and we still have to deal with.
I'll just check quickly as well on the fitness of Jota. There was a lot of conjecture because he wasn't pictured at training yesterday.
Joe is fine. Joe is fine.
Good. Final question in the open, Neil Jones, and then we'll go to the embargo section.
Hi, did you speak to the players as a group? You know, obviously they took a big step on Tuesday to come out collectively and support. And does it bother you that the great relationship that's been built up over 3 years between the club and the supporters and the team was jeopardised by everything that's happened this week?
Yes, of course I spoke to the team collectively. On match day, because the day before it happened, match day morning, we organized a meeting which was not organized before. We didn't think we need that, or we didn't know that we need a meeting. So then we spoke about it. Yes, I explained it, and I said, I hope not that the relationship got jeopardized. To be honest, but I can't see that. But who am I to know about that? To be honest, what was the third part of the question?
I'm sorry, I put Neil on mute. Done.
Sorry, yeah, I mean it's about you've got preparing for a game and you've got banners hanging on outside Anfield criticising the club. You've obviously arrived at the Leeds game and had distractions there. The preparation's been affected. Does that bother you that something might be lost in that?
No, I understand. No, I understand. They're not. How can fans show then if they're not happy with something? So I was not happy about that when around the Leeds game on the match day that I heard about that. But I understand that completely. Meanwhile, yeah, what do you want to do? You take off the banners or whatever. That's completely fine. I get that 100%. But apart from that, what I had to say about the Leeds game, I said already, and I have no idea what happens tomorrow. I hope nothing, to be honest, but apart from a football game, but I don't know. And these are the facts. So from my point of view, I don't see a reason why there should be anything between our supporters and us, to be honest. But who am I to know?
the Premier League. Of the drop zone and up in 15th, you get the feeling that one more win would probably be enough to secure Newcastle's place in the Premier League for another season. And last week they beat West Ham United, and they are unchanged from the side that beat the Hammers. It's Martin Dubravka who starts in goal, Jacob Murphy, Federico Fernandez, Kieran Clark, Paul Dummett and Matt Ritchie will play at the back. Sean Longstaff, John Joe Shelby and Miguel Almiron will be in the middle, with Joe Linton partnered by Alan San-Maximin, who really is the talisman and the jewel in the Magpies' crown. An opportunity for both of these sides today to get some really valuable points. Liverpool have really struggled at Anfield this season. This year in 2021, they have the worst home record in the division, just 4 points so far. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games at Anfield. Today they are looking to change that, as the players are all in position now, ready to go. Andre Mariner just checking his watch before getting this game underway in what I'm sure will be an entertaining affair between these two sides at differing ends of the table, in differing spates of form, but with the same message to football as they take the knee, that there is no room for racism. As the game gets underway, the ball played back by Mohamed Salah into Fabinho, who lofts a long ball forward looking for Diogo Jota. He's beaten to it by Federico Fernandez, and now Alan San-Maximin tries to cushion a ball down, but it will be hooked clear by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and a first opportunity for Martin Dubravka to get the ball in his hands inside his own 18-yard box. 20 seconds on the clock. Liverpool 0, Newcastle 0. Independent off-tube studio-based coverage, should I say, of the Premier League this afternoon with myself, Jack Deaton. Here's Andy Robertson inside his own half. Finds Diogo Jota, who seems to be playing almost as that number 10, or the advanced member of the midfield 3. Sadio Mane brings it down here just inside the Newcastle half into Thiago Alcantara, the man who's found it relatively difficult going actually in the Premier League. At times he's looked a little bit off the pace from the unbelievable midfielder we saw in the Bayern Munich side of last season. Here's Andy Robertson, back to Gini Wijnaldum now, just to the left of the centre circle. He plays it from left to right into Fabinho, who has to step up to pick the ball up. He'll go back to his central defensive partner, Ozan Kabak. Now into Gini Wijnaldum once again. Here's Andy Robertson, all being played sort of in the middle third at the moment. Fabinho now in the centre circle. Sees a glance forward, sees Mohamed Salah midway inside the Newcastle half, out on the right-hand side. Liverpool at the moment playing more or less completely in front of Newcastle, who are holding the shape. Last week against West Ham, that defensive 5 did a really good job of nullifying the Hammers, despite having very little possession in the game. Here's Diogo Jota. Now out to Mohamed Salah, back to Jota. A couple of one-touch passes between the two, and the Portuguese will find the Egyptian again. Now Jota, edge of the area, trying to twist and turn away. He looked to stab it through to Wijnaldum. Miguel Almiron got in the way and pokes it clear to Jacob Murphy. And now Newcastle can break with Alan San-Maximin, and a ball over the top looking for Murphy, but it runs through to Alisson, who will gather it comfortably. But that's what Newcastle will be looking to do today. It's about the counter-attacking football. With just over 2 minutes on the clock, it remains Liverpool 0, Newcastle 0. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's been a real upturn in his form in recent weeks. He finds Thiago into Roberto Firmino, back out to Alexander-Arnold once more. Now Mo Salah into Firmino's feet, right-hand edge of the area. The Brazilian having to twist and turn and find an outlet as Alexander-Arnold makes a run just to draw a player out. And Mohamed Salah left it. Thiago had to go to ground to get there ahead of Alan San-Maximin, and it means that Liverpool will continue in possession inside the Newcastle half with Gini Wijnaldum. Now into Sadio Mane. Mane trying to get himself forward here, and a floated left-footed ball in is dangerous, headed up in the air by Kieran Clark. It'll be brought down by Salah, who turns and lashes it into the back of the net, and it's the perfect start for Liverpool. After just 3 minutes, they take their opportunity when it comes, and Mohamed Salah opens the scoring. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Liverpool have got themselves an early lead at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah brought into the starting 11 today, and he has rewarded his manager for giving him his opportunity. It was a good ball in from Sadio Mane on the left-hand side that was headed just straight up in the air by Kieran Clark. It fell to Mohamed Salah on the edge of the 6-yard box, who brought it down well and then lashed it early past Martin Dubravka at his near post. No chance for the goalkeeper. A really good finish from the Egyptian, and the ideal start to proceedings for Liverpool, who are looking to get themselves that top 4 place today with 6 games to go. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Perfect start for Jurgen Klopp's side. Salah able to take advantage, and it's little moments like that where you just feel that things can go their way all of a sudden, as Alan Sam Maximan now in the Liverpool area trying to twist and turn away. He's challenged by Ozan Kabak, and it will be a corner to Newcastle United, looking to strike back straight away. Good move again from Alan Sam Maximan. I had the pleasure of doing the Newcastle game against West Ham last week, and he is a real firecracker, is Sam Maximan, a player who can change a game in an instant, drives forward, causes all sorts of problems. As Sean Longstaff whips the corner in, it's headed away by Roberto Firmino, only as far as Miguel Almiron, who whips it in again. There's 3 Newcastle players, Fernandes and Joelinton were 2 of them that were offside, and now Liverpool are breaking again here with Mohamed Salah, who, under pressure from Miguel Almiron, makes a bit of a hash of his ball forward. In the end, it means that Newcastle can pick possession back up again. 5 minutes gone. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0 in this independent off-tube studio-based commentary, and a really bright, fast start to proceedings, especially from the men in red. The sun is shining on Merseyside. Just looking at this again from Salah, it's a lovely first touch. He then swivels before lashing it past Dubravka. The touch just sets it up nicely for him, and as it bounces, it's on its way up, and Salah just lashes at it. Big punch of the air from Jurgen Klopp. You will have enjoyed that. Here's Fabinho, just inside his own half, as Liverpool will once again try and slow the play down, keep in control of possession. A week in, as I said at the beginning, where the top 6 sides have been under immense scrutiny, but one man who hasn't been under scrutiny is Jordan Henderson, who reportedly firstly called a player meeting with the Liverpool side after the announcement, before then trying to call together all the captains in the Premier League to rally and show that the players didn't want the Super League, as well as the fans. It has been a mixed week for the side from Merseyside. Now they're letting their feet do the talking, and the matters on the pitch do the talking. Against Leeds United in the first half, they were pretty good. Were Liverpool the better side in West Yorkshire, but in the second half they allowed Leeds in, and Leeds were able to nip themselves a point in the end, and a disappointing one for Jurgen Klopp, who felt as though his side could have and should have won the game. That's in the past, and they've got to focus on the future. In the next 83 minutes in this game, Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Here's Gini Wijnaldum out to Andy Robertson in that middle third of the pitch again, just inside the Newcastle half. He finds the Dutchman Wijnaldum into Mohamed Salah, who couldn't get the ball across. And now Fabinho will pick it up inside the centre circle. Just maintaining their position, really. They're in no rush to do anything. As Wijnaldum looked up and saw Trent Alexander-Arnold, but decided against playing the ball out to him, instead going back towards Ozan Kabak in the centre circle. Now Fabinho on the centre spot. As Andy Robertson makes a run forward, it just draws Jacob Murphy in and allows Sadio Mane to have the space to drive at the left-hand side. But his ball in is cleared away by Federico Fernandes, only as far as Ozan Kabak. At the moment, Newcastle really struggling to get on the ball. Liverpool 73% possession. Even then, I think that's a little bit harsh on the Reds, because it's felt like even more. Here's Salah, back now to Firmino, edge of the area, plays it out to the right-hand side, and Thiago, who will shift it back infield to Wijnaldum now, 25 yards from goal. Wijnaldum, dead centre, finds Thiago, out towards Ozan Kabak. Now out to this left-hand side, and Andy Robertson. His pass is blocked by Jacob Murphy, only as far as Wijnaldum again, who in the middle of this Newcastle half will look up and find Roberto Firmino. Out to Alexander-Arnold, into Salah. Salah again had the ball returned to him by Firmino, and it means that Newcastle will nip in and win it as Alan Saint-Maximin just glides away from 3 players before being chopped down by Ozan Kabak, and there's no surprise that the Liverpool man becomes the first into Andre Mariner's pocketbook. Alan Saint-Maximin, this is what I say when he gets on the ball, he just drifts away from people, and in the end there Kabak did what was needed, I suppose, in a way, by chopping him down. Against West Ham last week, Craig Dawson thought he was doing the right thing when he chopped down Saint-Maximin. He then got a second yellow card just before the break, and it didn't help West Ham's cause. It'll be interesting to see whether Newcastle try and attack at Kabak even more so now than they would have done. Newcastle have a problem here because Saint-Maximin has stayed down. He's receiving treatment on that left ankle, which is where the contact came. It was a hefty challenge, but nothing more than that really from Kabak. Definitely caught him though. Saint-Maximin is back on his feet. He's not moving very well at all. He seems to be in the walls quite a lot, does Alan Saint-Maximin, because of the way he plays. He sort of invites bad challenges and invites being chopped down because of how direct and dangerous he is, and similar to Jack Grealish, that he does get kicked a lot, but he's perhaps made of more fragile stuff than the Aston Villa midfielder. Callum Wilson has got to go warm up here, just in case Alan Saint-Maximin isn't okay to go on. Stephen Clements just going across and having a word with him. As Kieran Clark here stood over this free kick inside the centre circle. He looks up and floats it out towards Joe Linton, and it's really poor. He's drilled it more than floated it, and it goes straight out of play for a goal kick. Saint-Maximin gets himself back on the pitch. He came off around the hour mark against West Ham last week, and he was limping off the pitch then. And even now, just watching him in the middle of my screen, independent off-tube studio commentary, he does not look like he's moving well at all, as Sadio Mane tries to get away down the left-hand side. Good challenge from Federico Fernandez, who claims he was fouled by Mane as he went to clear it. Jacob Murphy then leathers it into Mane. He goes out for a Newcastle throw-in midway inside their own half with just over 11 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 1, Newcastle United 0. Saint-Maximin still limping around as Jacob Murphy comes across to take this throw-in, launching it down the line towards Saint-Maximin, beaten to it by Kabak. And it goes out of play for another Newcastle throw-in, and they've made up about maybe 30 or 40 yards. Now they're 15 yards inside the Liverpool half with this throw-in as Miguel Almiron tries to get away from Andy Robertson. Good challenge from the Scotland captain. And he goes back towards Kabak inside his own penalty area, and Kabak will find Thiago. And Newcastle won't put pressure really on Liverpool inside Liverpool's half. They will mostly leave them to it, and then once they start crossing the centre line is when they begin to apply the pressure. It's all about trying to cut the passing lines at the moment. As Wijnaldum plays it out to Alexander Arnold, whose heavy touch invites the pressure from Joe Linton, but then Joe Linton inadvertently gives it back to Alexander Arnold. Early ball in towards Mane, who diverts it over the bar. The offside flag was up on the far side, but Joe Linton's blush is spared by Sadio Mane's early movement. It's disappointing really from Joe Linton, because he does really well to win it and then sort of prods it across. And Alexander Arnold with one of those typical Trent Alexander-Arnold whipped balls across the edge of the 6-yard box, but Mane had definitely moved early. Here's Diogo Jota, out to Andy Robertson. Robertson back infield to Thiago, who tries to float it over the top. It's headed away by Clark and helped on its way by John Joe Shelvey, and now Alan Saint-Maximin, who isn't limping anymore as he again tries to float the ball forward towards Joe Linton. It's well intercepted by Gini Wijnaldum, who then rounds John Joe Shelvey to find Roberto Firmino. Shelvey, of course, a former patron of Liverpool, came through the youth academy, used to wear the red of Liverpool, as well as Andy Robertson struggles to keep the ball in play down on this near left-hand side. But it will be a Newcastle United throw-in. just under midway inside their own half. Closer to their goal than to the halfway line. Jacob Murphy, the man to take it. Murphy will find Miguel Almiron. Back to Murphy again. Now Shelvey into Almiron. That's a nice play from Newcastle, but Almiron, it looked like he played himself into trouble, but he does really well to get it out to the left-hand side. And Matt Ritchie, we've yet to see. Ritchie cutting in field under pressure from Thiago, finds Longstaff. And now Sam Maximan. To Fernandez, out to the right-hand side, and Jacob Murphy again, and Murphy twists away from Diogo Jota, pulls it back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Thiago in the way, just cushioned it down for Kabak to clear, but Newcastle come forward once again. Federico Fernandez making an overlapping run as Jacob Murphy rolls it through to Sam Maximan, and Sam Maximan pulls it across the face of goal. It will be hooked away by Alexander Arnold. The offside flag has gone up now, and it was Fabinho who was the man in the way in the end, but here, very nearly caught out. Liverpool, Sam Maximan is just offside. As that ball goes through, it's a really important piece of defending from Fabinho to prevent his fellow Brazilian Joel don't have an outlet. Liverpool have come close, I suppose. A ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold that Sadio Mane diverted over the bar. The best opportunity that we've seen since the goal. He was, however, in an offside position. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. It's the home side that are in possession at the moment with Ozan Kabak into Andy Robertson. Robertson will go back into the feet of Kabak once again. Now Wijnaldum across to Fabinho, lofts a long ball forward, brought down by Mohamed Salah. The challenge comes in, and I think, judging by Mohamed Salah's reaction, a goal kick has been given. It's a good ball forward from Fabinho. Salah, challenged by Paul Dummett. Just looking at passes wise for the game, Liverpool 130 passes, Newcastle 28, just 5 in the final third for Newcastle in comparison to 38 for Liverpool. So very much what we're seeing is the pattern of the game, that Liverpool are on top, they're controlling possession, they are passing the ball in a much more concise way than their opponents, which was always going to be the case, but it's still not quite what Newcastle would have wanted so far. A long ball forward then for Joe Linton to try and knock down for Sam Maximan, who was jumped over the top of by Ozan Kabak. I always feel bad for defenders when these sort of free kicks are given, because Kabak jumped for it as sort of Sam Maximan stayed on the floor, so you're always going to go over the top. Sam Maximan didn't challenge for it, but Kabak just in the back of him. I think it's a bit soft as that, but 17.5 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal, all that separates the two. As Matt Ritchie's over this free kick here, just inside the Liverpool half. It's slightly to the left of centre, not the greatest of angles, as he plays it to his right to Shelvey, who plays it into Fernandez. Header across the face of goal is cleared by Fabinho, only as far as Sam Maximan on the left-hand edge of the area. Sam Maximan now forced out to the byline as he turns away from Mohamed Salah towards the penalty area. Skipping away from Salah again. Dangerous ball in this time that Kabak will clear. Newcastle will look to try and win it back, but Salah's making a nuisance of himself for Fernandez, who was trying to bring the ball down, and now Diogo Jota will head clear. Only as far though as Ritchie, out to Sam Maximan again, back heel from him, looking for Ritchie. Thiago will get himself in the way, but Ritchie gets across. It prevents a goal kick being given, instead putting the ball out for a throw-in by the corner flag. Sam Maximan just a burst of pace to get away from Mohamed Salah. You know you're fast if you're able to beat Salah for pace, and it's exactly what he did there. Scary. Here's Almiron. Trying to bring the ball down midway inside the Liverpool half. His touch is heavy, and Gini Wijnaldum can bring it down. And now maybe Liverpool can break with Sadio Mane on this left-hand side. Good challenge from Jacob Murphy. Now Miguel Almiron away from Diogo Jota like he wasn't even there. Into Joelinton. Back now for Paul Dummett. Into Matt Ritchie on the halfway line. Ritchie finds Sam Maximan once more. He's a real character, isn't he, with the ball at his feet? Alan Sam Maximan brings the ball down, sort of almost a fake pass, which sold two Liverpool defenders before then moving through. Here's Longstaff into Almiron. It's a good little period of possession this for the Magpies. As Kieran Clark plays a really poor ball out to the left that Matt Ritchie was alert to, and he was able to get there and keep it in after it had beaten Paul Dummett. And Jonjo Shelvey's played a great ball over the top. Here's Longstaff in the area. Sean Longstaff with a shot. Good save from Alisson down low to his left. And Liverpool clear. And finally Newcastle create a really good opportunity. It's a wonderful ball this from Jonjo Shelvey. The run from Longstaff is perfect. And then he gets it on his left foot. Drives the shot at goal. In the end, it's low. It's a difficult one. But it forces a really good save from Alisson into that sort of goalkeeper's weak spot. About the hip area of a goalkeeper down low is really difficult to get to the ground and save. But he did really well there to keep it at the back of the net. Now the corner to be whipped in left-footed by Matt Ritchie. Federico Fernandez helps it, keeps it alive, and then the header goes into the back of the net from Longstaff, but Jonjo Shelvey, not sure whether a foul was given or offside, but it looked like Jonjo Shelvey backed into Alisson, sent Alisson to the ground. The offside flag is what was up. Yeah, both players clearly offside, or all three players clearly offside. Shelvey just backed into Alisson, and Alisson sort of just jumps into the back of him, really. It just looks a bit innocuous, but it's one of those that goalkeepers do get a lot of pressure. They get a lot of protection. And there, I'm sure if that had been onside, it'd have been a contentious one to talk about. As Thiago plays a lovely ball from right to left into Andy Robertson. Robertson now into Mane. Mane back for Wijnaldum. As Liverpool look to try and regain control, really, after a 5-minute spell where Newcastle have been the better side, as Federico Fernandez, I think, was looking to sort of turn around Andy Robertson. Robertson read it and leaves it, and it's gone out of play for a cheap Liverpool corner on this near side. Andy Robertson will take this left-footed out swinging from this near side. Kabak, Fabinho all inside the penalty area. Robertson whips it in towards the near post. Mane, the man who challenged for it, and now Sam Maximan will try and get away from Salah, who does really well to use his strength as Shelvey comes across and puts the challenge in. And now it's at the feet of Gini Wijnaldum. Into Alexander-Arnold. Now Thiago. It's a lovely ball out to the left-hand side, and Andy Robertson. Robertson will give it back to Thiago now. Dead centre of the Newcastle half, plays a reverse ball into Salah, who gives it to Jota, who lashes it towards goal, but a long way over the bar from Diogo Jota. And in a game where, other than the goal, it's been a relatively chance bereft opening 23 minutes, Jota there sat up nicely for him, and he's just leant back and smashed it over the bar. A disappointing one for him. One thing I will say is the game is really opening up here, as Alexander-Arnold tries to float an early ball in. Mane will bring it down here, left-hand edge of the area. Just looked like it was a bit far for him, but he did really well, and then cushions it back for Jota, who hits the shot this time straight at Martin Dubravka, who sort of shrugs his shoulders really at his teammates, because it was all so easy for Jota to pick up that amount of room. Really good few minutes for Liverpool in terms of creating chances. Jota with both of them. Oh, it's Alan Saint-Maximin doing what he does best, weaving away, but this time Kabak goes across and wins it. Now finds Jota. Jota into Salah. Salah tried to play it through first time, and they're claiming handball at Liverpool. Be interested to see if we get a replay as Miguel Almiron breaks forward now for Newcastle United, up against Kabak, just loses his balance. It's good defending from Ozan Kabak, who will then find Andy Robertson, and Liverpool will play it out. But a couple of questions. Questions being asked in regards to whether or not it was a hand used. Independent off-tube studio commentary, so I would assume that the picture provider will show a replay once the ball goes out. It was half-hearted appeals from Salah and Jota, but they were the two closest players to it. Here's Mohamed Salah, back now to Alexander-Arnold, into Thiago, who turns inside the centre circle, over the halfway line, ball out to the left and Andy Robertson. Now into Thiago once again, into Gini Wijnaldum, who plays it from that centre circle out to the right, and Salah. Salah with a floated ball, looking for Roberto Firmino. It was optimistic to say the least. He's picked up and Newcastle can come away with it with Kieran Clark on the edge of his own box. Plays it across from left to right to Fernandes, into Murphy. Murphy now, and they've got to be careful not to overplay this here in Newcastle, and they have. They've given it away, edge of the area. Firmino into Thiago. Thiago now looks up and finds Robertson, edge of the area. On his left foot, back for Jota. Now 25 yards out. Jota will find Firmino, and now Jota trying to get away. Good challenge from Jacob Murphy. Then Longstaff goes to ground, then Shelvey goes to ground to win it, and Newcastle can come away with it. With Almiron into Saint-Maximin. Joe Linton's made a run in behind, and that's where he's tried to play it, but Almiron's got in the way, and then Joe Linton gets in the way, and the two players just getting in each other's way in the end. Joe Linton flings an arm up, criticising Almiron, and the ball I think was meant for Joe Linton, but Almiron had turned his back. He then got caught under Almiron's feet, and then once Almiron gets on the ball, just let him go. But Joe Linton almost shoulder barged him to try and win it back, and Newcastle made a mess of it. Here's Firmino. Out to the left-hand side of Diogo Jota. Jota tries to get the ball back. It hits Jacob Murphy. Goes out for a throw-in. Andy Robertson will go across and take. Here's Gini Wijnaldum into Fabinho inside the centre circle. Back to Wijnaldum again. Fabinho and Kabak will combine before Roberto Firmino. Out to the left-hand side, and Andy Robertson. Robertson's dispossessed far too easily by Jacob Murphy, whose ball in field evades Alan Saint-Maximin, but he's picked up by Joe Linton, who claims he was fouled by Fabinho. He just seemed to topple to the ground, and now Salah's in down the right-hand side. Early ball in for Mane. Mane gets the shot off and drags it just wide. And another Liverpool opportunity goes begging. This time Sadio Mane just got into a good position. Good ball into him from Salah. Looks like he might have just been offside, actually, looking at the replay. I think, actually, it might take a nick off a Newcastle player. I think it does. I think it comes off the back of Fernandes. So a corner's been given that is taken quickly. Here's Robertson after it's returned back to him. High hanging ball that Kabak will head it back across, but cleared away by Fernandes for Saint-Maximin to chase, and he stabs it in front of him. Too close to Fabinho, who can now go back to Alisson, and Liverpool can reset. Long ball forward, finds Robertson. Well played, Jacob Murphy. Just teases it off the Scot. So it will be a Newcastle United goal kick. The game has really opened up at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0, but both sides have had some relatively good chances. For Liverpool, Diogo Jota had a couple of efforts. The first one lashing over from the edge of the penalty area. The second, for about 12 yards out, he scuffed his shot straight at Martin Dubravka when really he should have found the back of the net. But Sadio Mane just had a really good opportunity. getting in down the right-hand side after Mohamed Salah rolled it through to him. His shot across goal took a deflection and went wide. Newcastle have come closest, though, to getting the second goal of the game. It was Sean Longstaff, played in over the top, a long ball from John Joe Shelvey, and he was able to hit it relatively early and forced a good save down low from Alisson. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Diogo Jota with a chance while I was talking there, just wide of the mark. As the ball was given away by Newcastle, it was a poor pass from Kieran Clark, who's looked a little bit nervy today. Just there, he played a poor pass that Sadio Mane was able to get straight away, pulled it across for Diogo Jota, who sort of scuffed his shot down into the floor and wide. But a sighter, I suppose, is the word you'd use. And that would please Jurgen Klopp, that his side of putting the pressure on and forcing the mistakes out of the Magpies. Here's Fabinho into Thiago now, just in front of the centre circle, inside Newcastle territory. He plays it into the feet of Gini Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum now across to Thiago again, into Andy Robertson, and Robertson will play a good ball into Sadio Mane. Mane now, a couple of step overs and gets away, gets to the byline. He'll try and pull it across. Federico Fernandez is the man in the way, and Miguel Almiron will pick it up now, right hand edge of his own area, into John Joe Shelvey. Now Jacob Murphy, who will carry the ball before finding Alan Sam Maximan on halfway. Sam Maximan wriggles away from one challenge and then two before Andy Robertson puts the challenge in. Goes away for a Newcastle throw-in just inside their own half. Half an hour on the clock. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary of the Premier League with myself, Jack Deaton, this afternoon. A really bright and entertaining game at a sunny Anfield. At the moment, Liverpool on top. Have had the better chances. Have ultimately got the goal that gave them the lead. You still feel like there is more to come and more goals to come. Really cannot see this being a 1-0 type of game. Here's Fabinho out to the right hand side, and Alexander-Arnold finds Gini Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum into Firmino. Now Wijnaldum again. Back into Firmino again, right hand side of the centre circle. He finds Thiago, who rolls it out to Andy Robertson. Robertson back in field for Thiago, who plays a ball over the top looking for Robertson, who can only divert his header relatively far wide. Tried to just get on the end of it but couldn't get there, or couldn't get there properly. It was slightly overhit by Thiago. So Newcastle will start again with a goal kick. There is a game going on in the Championship that's available on this service. Cameron Pope is going through Bournemouth versus Brentford. That game also kicked off at 12:30, and it's 0-0 between the side in third and the side in fifth in the Championship right now. So if you want goals, stay right here in this Premier League game. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold back to Alisson inside his own 18-yard box. He finds Thiago, turns out, and then plays it into the feet of Gini Wijnaldum. Trent Alexander-Arnold's made an overlapping run, but the pass from Wijnaldum just sold Mo Salah short. And Matt Ritchie put a challenge in that looked like a good tackle. But the referee's assistant was the man who disagreed, and actually it's the right decision from the assistant referee. Salah was the man who got there first, and Ritchie just sort of bundled into him. So the referee's assistant got that spot on. Now it's Ozan Kabak with the ball at his feet. He finds Fabinho. Now Thiago. Into the feet of Thiago once again. Here's Diogo Jota into Andy Robertson. Now Thiago just inside the Newcastle half with the ball at his feet. He finds Jota into Mane. Mane unable to smuggle that ball through, and Kabak in the end will go all the way back to Fabinho inside the centre circle. And at the moment, Liverpool just dominating in terms of possession. They're trying to open the game up, and Newcastle holding firm defensively. They look relatively solid at the moment to Newcastle. Insert curse of the commentator comment here. But with 33 minutes on the clock. It's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0 as Fabinho plays it out to Andy Robertson. Left hand side into Sadio Mane. Mane now for Firmino. Firmino 25 yards out, tried to play it into the feet of Wijnaldum. It will be dealt with and hooked away by Paul Dummett as Alan Saint-Maximin tries to get away from Thiago and does, and then gets away from Fabinho. Just driving forward, finds Joe Linton. Joe Linton has to get it out of his feet to Longstaff. The pass, though, is really poor. And then Alexander-Arnold gets there first, throws himself to the ground, and it will be a Liverpool free kick on the edge of their 18-yard box. But once again, Alan Saint-Maximin causing problems, getting on the ball, just driving forward at that Liverpool defence. It was a good ball into Joe Linton, who got the ball stuck under his feet initially, then tries to play it out with his weaker left foot, and it looked like a weak left foot as well. No conviction in the pass behind Sean Longstaff, who then couldn't create what he wanted to. Here's Thiago on the halfway line into Trent Alexander-Arnold. He finds Gini Wijnaldum. Now Thiago again inside the centre circle. That's a nice ball through to Diogo Jota, who just looked to help it on its way really to Sadio Mane, but again the contact just wasn't quite there. It's in the end easily collected by Newcastle, who just clear it. It's just a long aimless clearance straight back to the men in red, and Kabak inside the centre circle carrying the ball forward before finding Roberto Firmino. Here's Kabak again into Thiago. Liverpool players hungry for the ball, constantly picking up space as Thiago finds Alexander-Arnold midway inside the Newcastle half. 83% possession at the moment for Liverpool at Anfield, well on top and well on the ball as Thiago finds Diogo Jota. Jota just dispossessed, and now Newcastle can break with Miguel Almiron on the right hand side. Takes it over halfway and then looks to skip away from Andy Robertson, plays the ball against him, so he's gone out of play for a Newcastle United throw in here midway inside Liverpool territory. 35.5 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mo Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. Will there be another twist before the break in this game? Here's Jacob Murphy into Miguel Almiron, back to Murphy again, who's under pressure and under a lot of pressure as well from Diogo Jota, who continues to hassle and harry him, and in the end they win it back. And Firmino plays a good ball over the top for Salah, and Salah's bearing through on goal. Mohamed Salah tries to stab it past Dubravka, who stays big and prevents Liverpool from going two to the good. And it's a head-enhanced moment for Salah. It was strange as he broke towards goal, he kept almost putting it onto his right foot, and then when the chance came, rather than slotting it with his right, he tried to stab it at goal with the outside of his left. But it was all so easy for Liverpool. A great ball from Firmino over the top for Salah, who just couldn't gather it. It's almost he took his first touch, it bounced, then off his shin, bounced ahead of him, and then his touch with his left was heavy as well, as Salah is in possession again inside the Newcastle penalty area. Back to Alexander-Arnold, dangerous ball in, Firmino heads back across goal, and Dubravka will claim it in the end. And Newcastle really just need to calm things down here as John Joe Shelby plays it out to the right hand side, and Miguel Almiron will then try and collect it, leaves it for Saint-Maximin, and now Jacob Murphy back into Saint-Maximin again, who tries to wriggle away from Thiago. It's a heavy challenge, but Thiago wins it for Diogo Jota. As a coming together with Jacob Murphy, both players on the ground. Murphy claiming that Jota kicked out at him. It didn't look like it, as Alexander-Arnold does well to get himself in the way and flick the ball back towards his own goal from a dangerous ball forward. That's Liverpool in possession with Roberto Firmino. Inside the centre circle, out to Andy Robertson. Robertson will find Thiago now, and Ozan Kabak. Across to Fabinho inside the centre circle. Plays a 1-2 with Alexander-Arnold before finding Thiago out to this left-hand side, and Andy Robertson. Robertson, that's a good ball to Mane. And now Jota finding the feet of Firmino, who stabs it back through for Jota, who gets the shot off, and again it's a scuffed effort really from Diogo Jota. Good save from Dubravka down low to his right, but really, he shouldn't have had a look in. Just looking at a replay of the sort of coming together between Murphy and Jota, there wasn't much in it as Mane now tries to pull it across for Salah, well dealt with by Paul Dummett, the man in the way. And Jacob Murphy will play an early ball into Alan Sam Maximan, and Newcastle have got men over here. Sam Maximan stabs it through looking for Joe Linton. Fabinho puts the challenge in. Joe Linton will keep it in though. Almost at the goal line here, pulls it back for Sam Maximan. It looked like Joe Linton was in an offside position. Be interesting to see if this comes to anything, whether he was. As Almiron at the end goes back, the referee's assistant, his flag has stayed down on this near side, so play goes on as Matt Ritchie up against Alexander-Arnold puts a dangerous ball in, and Joe Linton jumps at it with Alisson, but Alisson's able to claim it. It's good goalkeeping from the Brazilian to make himself big, make the save look relatively comfortable. Here's Mo Salah breaking forward now. Salah will pull it across for Mane. Mane tries to get away from Dubravka, and again Dubravka stays big. Didn't go to ground early, went to ground when he needed to and collected it off Mane's toes. And again Liverpool waste an opportunity. Into the closing stages of this first half, Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0, and Jurgen Klopp will be wondering how his side aren't 2 or 3 to the good. They've had some really good chances. The best, Mohamed Salah, played through after a really good ball over the top from Roberto Firmino. Salah made a bit of a hash of his first and then second touches, but went through one-on-one with Dubravka, tried to stab it past him with the outside of his left foot, but the goalkeeper made a really good save. And then he's made a couple of good saves after that. Diogo Jota with a scuff shot from 8 yards out that Dubravka did well to get down low to his right and keep out before Sadio Mane was played in with the goal gaping. Mane didn't want to go for the shot, tried to round Dubravka, who picked his moment to go to ground and nip it off his toes. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. And as I say, Liverpool should be 3 or 4 goals up in this game. They really should. They've had so many chances, and it's sort of the tale of the recent Liverpool when you think last season just how effective they were and how clinical they were. This season it hasn't been that same Liverpool side. Here's Alexander-Arnold with a shot that reaches row Z for about 25 yards out. Just shaped up onto his right foot, leant back, puts it a long way over the bar. So Dubravka will come across and take this goal kick. A reminder, there are 2 other games in the Premier League today. West Ham United are taking on Chelsea at 5:30. Sheffield United Brighton is a big game down and around the bottom of the league. That's at 8 o'clock. Both those games available on this service, and 2 other games available on in the Championship, should I say, this afternoon. Derby and Birmingham, and Watford versus Millwall. A point for Watford will be enough to bounce them back up to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Here's Thiago. That's a nice ball through to Diogo Jota, who again looks to slide it through the Newcastle defence, but the black and white striped men are in the way and are now trying to break forward. But another passing field from Joe Linton is poor. He's had a really poor first half by his standards. 42 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary of the Premier League this afternoon. Here's Roberto Firmino. Out to this left-hand side, and Andy Robertson. First-time ball infield for Thiago, who turns out inside the centre circle. Thiago with a nice ball into Diogo Jota. Now Gini Wijnaldum out to the right-hand side, and Alexander-Arnold. Here's Wijnaldum again into Kabak. Just need that second goal. They just need to get themselves over the line and open up a bit of breathing space, because at 1-0 it feels like Newcastle can get themselves back into the game as Sam Maximan brings the ball down again, gets away from a couple of challenges, but Fabinho is the man who steps across and wins it, prevents it from going any further and getting any closer to the goal. Here is Thiago out to the left hand side, and Andy Robertson in field for Thiago. Will find Sadio Mane, who's come across just to get involved. He finds Mohamed Salah, who claims he was fouled. Newcastle happy to play on though, as John Joe Shelby's pass though is behind Miguel Almiron, who didn't even look at it. Now Robertson challenged by Longstaff. Liverpool go on. Salah's back on his feet as Firmino, middle of the Newcastle half, finds Salah now, edge of the box. Salah trying to wriggle away. He's got 4 Newcastle players between him and the goal. He finds Alexander-Arnold and Mane, then with a shot that goes wide. Mane stabbing it at goal. At the near post, it's a nice ball in from Alexander-Arnold. And I say he stabbed it wide, he's gone with the side foot, and looks like actually good defending from Federico Fernandez. I think a goal kick is what's been given. Fernandez putting the pressure on Mane, making it difficult for him to get a shot off. In the end, does enough as Dubravka's long ball forward just goes straight out of play for a Liverpool throw-in on the halfway line as we tick into the final minute of the opening 45. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. As things stand, Liverpool going 4th in the Premier League for the time being at least. Chelsea-West Ham tonight, I'm sure will be interesting, and the winner of that will go back up above Liverpool. Here's Thiago inside the centre circle, takes it over halfway and finds Andy Robertson. Robertson has a look up as Firmino makes a run down the left into Jota. Jota trying to wriggle away from Jacob Murphy, who does well. Then Murphy throws himself to the ground under pressure from Jota and wins his side. An important free kick. And I'm sure Steve Bruce won't be too disheartened with his side's performance. They haven't played well in reality. Give themselves more space and more of an attacking threat as Fernandez plays a long ball forward looking for Joe Linton. It's headed away by Fabinho as far as Ozan Kabak. Kabak's pass is poor, but Thiago does well to nip in ahead of Miguel Almiron. Make sure that the ball does not fall into enemy hands. Here's Thiago on the centre spot. The threaded pass into Jota. Diogo Jota, who's got Andy Robertson on the left, that's where he plays it. Robertson will float it in towards the near post, and Sadio Mane headers wide. And it's another opportunity, that one probably the most difficult one of the day for Sadio Mane. Slightly behind him. Just looking at replays, perhaps just onside as he's played in, but the ball just slightly behind him, so he has to sort of crane his neck to divert it towards goal, and in the end it goes pretty harmlessly wide as Jurgen Klopp just asks Lee Mason how long's left. Both managers, I'm sure, will want to see more from their sides in the second period. We've got 10 seconds to go of the 2 added on. As Martin Dubravka lofts it long, right-footed, looking for Joe Linton, who wins the header. He's looking for Alan Saint-Maximin, who will put Ozan Kabak under pressure. Kabak goes back to Alisson, and the half-time whistle blows. So Mohamed Salah's goal on 3 minutes, all that separates the two at the break. Liverpool have had a host of opportunities. Sadio Mane and Diogo Jota with the best of them. Newcastle's best chance falling to Sean Longstaff in a half where chances have been there, goals just haven't been. And at Anfield at half-time, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Join me in 15 minutes for the second half. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. After Sadio Mane's cross was only half cleared by Kieran Clark, Mohamed Salah brought it down, spun and lashed it into the back of the net. Now Liverpool have had chance after chance. Both Mane, Salah and Diogo Jota have all had opportunities that they've either missed or have been saved by Martin Dubravka. Newcastle have had to sit in for large parts but have had a chance through Sean Longstaff forcing a good save from Alisson.
Jürgen, I hope
Hi.
you're well. Just reflecting on the events of the past week, have you and the players had a personal apology from John W. Henry or anyone at boardroom level? How did those conversations or meetings even go? And what's your message to the fans now?
So, no, we haven't, or we hadn't. I don't think, to be honest, it's necessary because I felt, or I think I was mentioned in the apology, and the team as well. So that was personal for me, or personal enough for me. No, we didn't speak about that since then.
And your message to the fans moving forward, Jürgen?
That's a tough one. So to answer, to be honest, because I cannot tell millions and millions of people how they have to deal with the situation. What I can say, how I try to deal with it, and that is I try to focus on what I have to do, and that is preparing a team for the Newcastle game. The other thing I can say. I know the owners. I know them since 6 years. I know there were some moments when they might not have made the right decisions, this time for sure. And that doesn't change for me too much because I prefer dealing with the problems or the people I know than just changing, because then you might have the same problems early enough again. So I think that it's completely normal after this that everybody thinks about how can we carry on and stuff like this, but this is obviously that needs longer time, and you cannot sort that now in a week or these kind of things. And it's always like this. We have to especially we as a team, we have to be concentrated on the things we are actually here for, playing football, and that's what we try to do.
And as for the players, how do you feel your captain in particular, but also the rest of the first team squad have dealt with this situation?
Very good. I'm not surprised about that. They are grown-up people. They are adults. They are top characters, top blokes, and that was a really good thing to do. Just saying your opinion, and that's what they did. Not the first time, and for sure not the last time.
And you can now focus on another important game for obviously what you still want to achieve this season.
Yeah, we only have important games left, and massively important. We have actually 6 finals if you want, and we have to win them all pretty much. And we better start tomorrow, and we know it's a tricky one. We know all what Newcastle is going for. They fight for staying in the league, and that's clear. Maybe with 3 points tomorrow they can not make that sure already, but it would be a big step for them. But we have our own targets, and we have to fight. We have to offer a proper fight tomorrow, and we have to play football, and we have to score goals, and we have to defend, and all these kind of things. That's what we have to do tomorrow, and that's for 95 minutes, and that's what we try to prepare now.
And we have Curtis and Nat back, and is there any updates on when you'll have Jordan Henderson available as well?
No, Nat Phillips is not back. No. Curtis is back. Yeah, that's true. All the others not. What was the question? I know when Jordan is coming back.
Yeah.
No, don't know.
Yeah, just any update as to when he might be available again?
Not really. I don't know. Nobody told me, so it's not for sure. Not in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Simon Crabtree, PLP.
Just in terms of the front four, your mainstays, as it were, what questions or problems or dilemmas do you have when you're selecting which of the three to start with at the moment, or do even sometimes have you considered all 4 of them again?
It was not too often possible, to be honest, because of Diogo's injury, especially. I think. What is the thing? There are a lot of things. So the intensity of the games before, we cannot ignore that. Who played most of the games? Blah blah blah. It's an intense season. So if you can rotate in moments, that helps a lot. Which formation fits? That's obviously the main thing. Which fits most or the best to the opponent we play, and how can we defend? How can we close the spaces they want to use in the best way. So they're the front three for us obviously are really important as well. So these are the things, no others. Like actually with the whole team.
Go on, Simon, sorry.
And I know you touched on Newcastle with Vinny there, but just sort of what problems do they pose at the moment? Because they've found form just at the right time, I suppose, for them.
Yeah, they had already a good spell in the beginning, I think, of the season, and they probably dropped a little bit. They had injuries, COVID, everything came together, I would say, or a lot of things came together, and so now they have, I think, a settled lineup, even when they miss obviously key players still with the Celts and others. So, but they or share, but they have now 5 in the back, and Steve likes to keep the structure when it's successful. So 5 in the back, that works well. Then with Shelby, Longstaff, Almiron, probably not sure. Obviously, there could be some others as well. But in midfield, and then Mr. Saint-Maxime is a proper one, and he was injured. That was a massive blow for Newcastle, I'm sure. And Wilton, they play now really well together, to be honest. And Wilson is then not even on the pitch, and if he starts, there's not a big drop, I would say, performance-wise. So no, they found their lineup, they found form, they found the way to play, and so for them it's good. For us, it's the job to do.
Thanks, Simon. Juliet for a question, and then Ian Kennedy, also from the BBC.
Hey Jurgen, with the ESL, the fallout, the repercussions that people are still talking about, although it isn't obviously going to happen the actual league. I was just wondering, with what you said to Vinny, what positives can be taken out of it, if there are any, going forward?
Positives.
Well, you always say, like, you look for a positive and a negative situation. When there's talk about the reforms and everything.
So
else.
look, the most positive thing didn't happen, and I'm now not involved that much anymore, because I started again focusing on obviously on preparing the team. But what I've heard, it's not over yet, and I don't mean with the Super League could still happen, but obviously now there are a lot of discussions about other things as well, and we could speak a lot about these kind of things. I'm just not here to do that always. Everybody knows my view on more games and stuff like this, and that's why what Pep said yesterday is absolutely was always my opinion. I didn't hide that you cannot just introduce always new competitions. So yes, the Super League is off the table, good, very good, but the new Champions League is now not the thing as well. And we could speak a lot about these kind of things. Just do that. They showed it to me. They called me and they gave 1 hour to UEFA, and then they showed it to me, the whole idea, and I said I don't like it, because there are 10 games instead of 6. I have no idea where we shall put them in, and then you will see what happens then. Then maybe the UEFA will ask for the cup competition gets cancelled in England or whatever, or that we have 18 teams in the league and stuff like this. You tell that the Premier League, then they say no way. You tell that the EFL, they say no way. All these kind of things. The only people who will never get asked are the coaches, the players, and the supporters. Yes, but we have to, and I mean, I know the supporters think, yeah, but playing more games, they get paid a lot of money, but we are already on the edge. And believe me, when all the coaches think the same, the coaches of the teams who play international football, so if they all think the same, there must be something in that it could be a little bit too much. But again, the UEFA didn't ask us, the Super League inventors didn't ask us, nobody asked us. It's always just play more games. And we said before, that's not possible. In this structure in the moment, it's not possible. You cannot have 20 teams in the league, 2 cup competitions, playing 10 international games before Christmas. These things are not possible. But how is that? We don't get asked. We just have to deliver.
I think it was Gundogan. Sorry, was the
no. Pep said in the press conference something, and Gundogan said something similar. I know.
Okay, sorry. Ian Kennedy, also BBC.
Hi Jurgen. Just on this weekend then ahead. It's an important one because the games are running out. Obviously, you can go fourth in the table, and then West Ham are playing Chelsea. So how big a weekend is this? I know it's all about what you can do, but maybe you need a bit of help from other results as well.
Oh, I said it before. That's a situation I don't like too much, but it's, to be honest, it's anyway the situation, because we are behind a few teams, so they need to lose points somewhere. We don't play them anymore. The teams around us, or don't play Leicester, don't play Chelsea, don't play West Ham anymore. So we don't play these teams, so they have to lose points somewhere, and that's the situation. But first and foremost, we have to make sure that we get our own points. If we don't do that, we have anyway no chance. So that's the first thing I'm really concerned about, and all the rest we have to wait and see. That's the truth.
And does it feel, I mean, I'm trying to think about the comparison between what you and the players must have felt going into the Leeds game on Monday and how you're feeling now going into this one. Does it feel like a huge weight has been lifted psychologically off everyone's shoulders?
Yeah. I would say yes, because it was really tough at Leeds, because we were pretty much thrown into it. We had no idea what's going on. We didn't know exactly how people will react, stuff like this. We had our own opinion. That was it. Yeah, that was not so cool, but I would not say we only drew at Leeds because of that. It just was the situation. So now actually we tried to concentrate fully on this on football again. But we are not dead, so we realize that things are still going on. A lot of talks are for different things happening at the clubs. The only things I can say, I really hope.
Time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. After Sadio Mane's cross was only half cleared by Kieran Clark, Mohamed Salah brought it down, spun and lashed it into the back of the net. Now Liverpool have had chance after chance. Both Mane, Salah and Diogo Jota have all had opportunities that they've either missed or have been saved by Martin Dubravka. Newcastle have had to sit in for large parts, but have had a chance through Sean Longstaff forcing a good save from Alisson. 1-0 at the break. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. After Sadio Mane's cross was only half cleared by Kieran Clark, Mohamed Salah brought it down, spun and lashed it into the back of the net. Now Liverpool have had chance after chance. Both Mane, Salah and Diogo Jota have all had opportunities that they've either missed or have been saved by Martin Dubravka. Newcastle have had to sit in for large parts, but have had a chance through Sean Longstaff forcing a good save from Alisson. 1-0 at the break. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. After Sadio Mane's cross was only half cleared by Kieran Clark, Mohamed Salah brought it down, spun and lashed it into the back of the net. Now Liverpool have had chance after chance. Both Mane, Salah and Diogo Jota have all had opportunities that they've either missed or have been saved by Martin Dubravka. Newcastle have had to sit in for large parts, but have had a chance through Sean Longstaff forcing a good save from Alisson. 1-0 at the break. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Mohamed Salah's goal after 3 minutes, all that separates the two. After Sadio Mane's cross was only half cleared by Kieran Clark, Mohamed Salah brought it down, spun and lashed it into the back of the net. Now Liverpool have had chance after chance. Both Mane, Salah... Well, it's a very warm welcome back to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0 was the score at the break. The sides have just got things back underway at Anfield. Doesn't look like there's any changes for either side at half-time. Interesting observation. Federico Fernandez was yellow carded in the first half for an elbow on Diogo Jota. Replay seemed to suggest that it could have been worse than a yellow. VAR had a look at it at the time, didn't deem it severe enough. The fact it was a yellow card, and kind of deemed that it wasn't as much of a mistake, a clear and obvious mistake, should we say. Liverpool in possession at the moment with Thiago. I'll take a moment to run you through the two-team lineups in just a minute as Diogo Jota wrestles past Jacob Murphy. Jota can't quite believe that a free kick's been given. Murphy felt the contact on him and throws himself to the ground. There's very little in that. very little in it. So the two sides look like this, then they are unchanged. For Liverpool, it's Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Kabak and Robertson across the back, with Thiago and Wijnaldum in the middle. It's Salah, Jota and Mane that are in behind Firmino, but as you would expect, it's a very fluid front four. For Newcastle, it's Dubravka in goal.